And before further ado, I have some notes here. Okay, Jen Pickett, who since she's been in Belgium always wins the who traveled the longest or farthest contest. She fished in Alaska for 20 years, salmon, halibut, and herring. And as I mentioned, she currently lives in Brussels. Please welcome Jen Pickett.
Good evening, everyone. This is my sister, Vicki Pickett. She's from Flagstaff, and she's going to help me out on this first piece. And she's actually a legit, she meets the qualifications of being here. Vicki worked in Chatham Cannery and Ocean Beauty for a summer in the 90s in Petersburg, Alaska. And this first piece that we're going to read together here is called Copper River Delta Radio Chatter. And this is when I had fished off the Copper River for 5 years with my own boat. And these are just little pieces that I heard on the VHF radio, either from our radio group or other people. And I went back through my journals over the winter and found a little bit of snippets. So here we go.
My plotter is telling me I'm going the wrong way.
Well, looky there. It's almost working.
What about that sockeye? You gonna call that a humpy?
I got back to town. I had to put my whole head in a pencil sharpener.
Yeah, you bet.
A wave blew out the windows of the Whiskey Creek. As soon as that water hit the Joy soap, the whole cabin filled with bubbles.
I hope they are hitting deep.
What makes me seasick? Hanging upside down in an engine room with a hangover.
I don't recommend deep frying in high seas.
I heard he used to drink compass water.
You can have anything for breakfast so long as it can be made with hot water.
Never trust a boat captain.
Now wait a minute.
Don't tell him what we caught. I don't want to make him feel bad.
You got any advice?
No, it's too late for you.
It's the low water flurry.
You got a macerating toilet? But how will you ever win the bet that it will be a floater or a sinker?
Who has Pickett's Cosmo quiz?
Gordon. First time I saw him, he was upside down in Peedall Bar.
They like my net better.
Freud would have a lot to say about you.
Did you remember to turn your radio off when the troopers boarded you?
Enough? Whoever said anything about enough?
Yeah, that might work. Now say pretty please.
I probably wouldn't say anything about the cooking.
I never knew there was anything inside me that could feel this bad.
Nothing casts more doubt on the miracles of Jesus other than the fact that the main witnesses were all fishermen.
This flood tide feels like a tsunami.
My biggest set on soft tuck was 650 red and 24 K-boys in 1985. I had my uncle on board because my arm was in a cast. We ended up hacking off that cast after I tore off my outdrive. We were in a bit of a hurry to get out of the breakers.
It's miles from anywhere worth going.
Recalcitrant, stubbornly resistant to authority.
Yeah, like my red dot heater.
Death comes early for some.
What would be your last meal?
He probably would have won the silver in the swearing Olympics.
Does your mother know you wear a hat like that?
Who do you think gave me this hat?
It's too snotty to go out, so Bill canceled today.
But it's Lyle's birthday.
Lyle is just going to have to wait. It's bad and getting worse. Tomorrow is also in jeopardy of getting canceled now.
Only in Alaska do guttural noises get applauses.
You bet. I'm out.
Thanks. Okay, this next one I wrote about seining herring in Togiak, Alaska. It's called Free. Getting launched from my bunk in Shelikof Straits, hours upon hours, not sitting up straight. The ram and the jam and a metal, the ream and the scream and the skipper the engine, hopes of redeeming yet another season. The cold wind, the cold water, eyes full of jelly, all this misery for fish for our bellies. Sore arms, sore back, sore neck, numb hands that won't work, the moldy cheese, the curled milk, the cook is a jerk. The smell of diesel, the gurry, the funk, it follows me all the way to my bunk. My sleeping bag smells like an engine rag, and that damn forecastle's done gone to the drags. No rest, no sleep, no fish, no money. Weeks out at sea, no word from my honey. But works for jerks is my motto, no stinking 9 to 5 for me. I make my living on the ocean, and often I work for free. Thanks. This one was the first story that I wrote, and it's actually quite a long story, but I condensed it down quite a bit so it would fit into our time slot here at Fisher Poets. And it's about when I first bought into the Copper River Delta in Prince William Sound. It's called I Gave a Princess the Bird. I hate waking up in a panic. I was 28, a brand new skipper with a new loan and an old boat, all to be paid off, one fish at a time. I needed to keep fishing. And oh, the predicaments one can wake up in when you sleep with your net out. The possibilities are endless. I was drifting and dreaming with visions of sockeyes dancing in my head when I was jolted out of my slumber by Lenny calling me on the VHF. Pickett, wake up. There's a cruise ship coming around the corner in College Fjords. A cruise ship? What do I care? I'm fishing. I have the right of way. There's lots of us around. He'll go around. I don't answer. I don't even get out of the bunk. A few minutes later, Pickett, wake up. There's a cruise ship coming around the corner. I peek out my stern window from my bunk through squinting eyes into the morning sun. Sure enough, there's a cruise ship heading right for me. My heart sinks and a spike of adrenaline pulses through me. I spring out of the bunk, fire up the engine, and hop into my rain gear that I keep fireman style for occasions such as this. There's no time to call the guy on the radio. There's no time for him to change course. There's no time for him to stop. There's no time to let my engine warm up. I turn on my hydros and go out on deck. I feel the cold, crisp Prince William Sound air slap me in my cheeks. I start reeling my net in and picking fish as fast as I can. And I don't say this very often, but luckily it wasn't a very good set. Then I realize there's no time to pick fish. I just start drumming everything aboard my bow picker. I look up over my cabin and straight up at the bow of this cruise ship. This wasn't a little Phillips state cruiser. This was a 1,200-foot long, 300-foot tall wall of steel heading straight for me at 22 knots. I bump up my hydros and put it in reverse so the net will tighten and fit on the drum, hopefully. And for a moment, time stops, and I think, really? This is it? This is how I go. I don't get the privilege of being taken by a wave in Kokahini, the most dangerous bar on the Copper River, like so many great fishermen before me. I end up getting splattered like a bug on a windshield of a tacky cruise ship with a rainbow of happy colors and the word princess painted on the side. No, I want a more honorable death. I rev up the engine and bump up the hydros again. I've been out on deck about 5 minutes and watched this giant wall of metal getting bigger and bigger, closer and closer. No question left in my mind now. I am dead center in its path. If I don't get out of its way, I will be run over. My hydros are screaming now, and I'm hoping I don't blow a hose. Water, jellyfish, blood, slime, seaweed, all flying everywhere. Fish are smacking the deck as they go around the drum. Thud, thud, thud. Oh, look, I caught a king. I grab my knife, prepare to cut myself free. I don't really want to do this. These nets are expensive, and this is the only one I have. But I'm running out of options. Then, all of a sudden, bang. My end buoy hits the deck with a thud. It bounces aboard like a basketball and over my reel. My net is in, but I'm still in its way. I rush into the cabin and turn off the hydros and think I really need to get that damn hydro switch fixed. I race back out on deck. I turn the wheel hard to port and push the throttle all the way down as far as it will go. My diesel roars to life, and I feel the bow rise up as the stern squats down, and I pick up speed. As soon as I get the boat turned around, I take it out of gear and start climbing a 6-foot wave, his bow wake, and then a 5-footer, a 4-footer, a 3-footer, each wave smaller than the last. The adrenaline drains from my body as my hot tears drain from my eyes and run down my cold cheeks. My legs turn to rubber. My knees give out and I sit down on my fish hold and I cry. Through blurry eyes, I see this giant wall of white about 100 feet from me, and it fills my entire field of vision. The playful colors of the side of the ship mock me. I see a passenger having breakfast. She waves at me. And though I know it's not her fault, I am not as happy to see her as she is to see me. And the only thing I can think to communicate this is one thing. So I raise my gloved hand and I give that princess the bird. Thank you. I have one more really short one, and this is called a fisherman's prayer. It's now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my fish will keep. And if I should drift over the line before I wake, I pray the troopers my fish they don't take. Thank you very much.